Well, I think at the end of the year, it would be great if he was at least the third leading receiver on this team, right? Because you don't really have a true number three. Marvin Mims is he's just a gadget player. It's all he is. I mean, I don't know if he'll ever be a real weapon in the passing game. I know he caught a touchdown and that was awesome, but he's a gadget guy, right? So it'd be great if it was Cortland Sutton was your number one receiver, Troy Franklin was your number two wide receiver, and Evan Engram was your third wide receiver. I'm surprised by the lack of targets early on, but it is still early in the season.
We've gone through this with tight ends in the past. Sometimes it's a struggle. I remember when Noah Fant was here, and you're like, why do we take this guy in the first round if we're not going to get him the ball? It feels like it's a rinse and repeat thing. Like, why did we get Evan Engram here if we're not going to target him at least 6 times a game?
Yeah.
And I think it's a fair question. And I think this is something that Sean is going to reflect on, and I think you'll see a change in that.
Here's the part that surprised me. I do get that, hey, man, you got to go where the progression leads you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he's covered,
right.
He's covered. But I expected Evan Engram to have more designed plays for him. And there are ways to design getting the ball in your tight end's hand.
No doubt. You don't think they're designing plays for Tyler Warren or Brock Bowers?
Of course.
Of course they are.
Of course.
And Kelsey, the same thing. You've got to do the same for him. Now, that being said, one of the reasons why he's not getting those catches is actually a good reason. And that is you're seeing the emergence of a legit second wide receiver. Like, hey, this is pretty good that this is going on. And the chemistry between Bo Nix and their Oregon connection, Tyler, I'm all for it. And maybe that's just it. Like, oh, now we have this. And I totally agree with you. Mims is not he is a gadget guy. He should be a gadget guy and a kick returner. And
well, he should be more than
those guys.
I think he should be more than that. But unfortunately, that's all he is.
Yeah, I think they'll sort it out with Evan Engram. I think the development of Troy Franklin is actually great.
But if you got to turn Engram into a bit of a gadget guy, I don't see anything wrong with that either.
Would you line him up in the backfield?
No.
I wouldn't either.
You can't do that.
Because he's not that guy.
I mean, you know that's an empty threat if you put him back there.
Correct. I agree with you. All right. Would you use Mims more in the backfield a little bit more or somehow hand him the ball? Would you do that with Mims? You did last year.
Well, I think it was it was early on. I can't remember how early, but it was early on in the first game that Mims was in the backfield. And he was just a decoy. They didn't give him the ball, and he wasn't out on a route or anything. But I do think that they need to keep Mims in the backfield enough to keep defenses honest, and you got to hand him the ball enough to keep defenses honest so that you can get the matchups that you're really looking for in the passing game.
If you were deeply desiring – here's what I think the truth is here. I don't think Engram is a joker. I think he's a receiving tight end, and that's that. And I don't think that's the joker. I don't think there's like Evan Engram's out there, Tyler, to do a million different things. You know, he's like smaller, kind of much smaller than Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
So
he's small.
The joker role, hey, man, that is Tyler Warren. I don't even know if Brock Bowers is that guy. You had a guy. It's a hard guy to find. Tyler Warren is one of those guys. Evan Engram isn't. So we'll see where it goes. That being said, what would you rather have? Troy Franklin develop or an emphasis of going to Evan Engram?
I don't think it has to be either or. I mean,
well, on Sunday it was.
To answer your question, Troy Franklin's young, and he's a more dynamic player at this point in his career.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'd prefer Troy Franklin, but I don't think it has to be either or.
Fine. But if it has to be either or, I'll take 9 targets, 8 receptions for Troy Franklin and 1 catch for Evan Engram, in all honesty. Because I know the catches are going to come with Cortland Sutton down the line, and you'll eventually get the ball to Engram more. Listen, the Broncos did not lose their game because of the offense, okay? You put up 28 points on the road. You were really good in the first half. It would have been better in the second half to at least get a field goal, and you did get in position for a field goal, and you got a 42-yard doink. You really, theoretically, Tyler, you really put your team in position for 31 points on the road.
I get why you say that, and I don't, inherently, fundamentally, I agree. The offense did enough to win that game. But they did choke when it mattered, dude. They did. And Bo Nix threw a very poorly timed interception, and you got the stupid spike the ball deal that probably shouldn't have affected anything.
You're right.
I mean, they choked when it mattered.
They gave away points. You did. And you couldn't afford to give away points. When we talked about that before the game, we said you can't lose the turnover battle, which, I mean, or when you win on 4th down at midfield, is that the equivalent of a turnover? I mean, you got 2 of those. Who knows? Every mistake that you couldn't make, you made late in the game, and you're right. And then you thought you won it, and then your coaches screwed it all up because they overcoached a pretty simple play. Next story, Dan.
Last one here from post-game Broncos. Here's Sean Payton on the Broncos' red zone defense.
That was important, I think, especially early. We had a lot of MEs, a lot of busts, though, drop coverages. Those are concerning. Then we'll have a chance to see the tape, and there'll be a number of things that we like when we watch it, but there'll be some things that obviously will be needed to be corrected.
Just defense overall, guys, what's your level of concern after the first 2 weeks of the Broncos defense, which we all thought and talked about ad nauseum before the season that they have the potential to be the top defense in the NFL this season?
First of all, what did he say? We had a lot of MEs?
Yeah, mental errors.
Oh, God. All right.
So some people call them MAs, missed assignments, MEs. It means the same thing.
Gotcha. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the question. What was the question again? Sorry.
Just where are you guys at with the Broncos defense after the first 2 weeks? Overall concern level for them, because we talked about a lot before the season that they have a really good chance to be the top defense in the NFL.
Well, I would say the biggest problem on defense last week was your inside linebackers got exposed. Now, how different is that going to look when Dre Greenlaw's on the field? I think it's going to look radically different. Are we getting Dre Greenlaw on the field?
I don't know. Why would we?
I mean, what? You serious?
I don't know. I have no indications that he's better. He hasn't practiced with the team.
I would assume, gosh, I thought they kept saying, like, hey, this is short term. Week 3, I would expect him to be back.
I hope so. I mean, I'm just saying there's been he hasn't practiced with the team yet. It wasn't like he was limited. He did not participate.
Yeah.
So, I have no idea. I mean, you're going to need your best players to play some good teams that are coming up. No doubt.
I mean, to answer your question, I still expect this to be an elite defense. So I'm not panicked.